Banka gaufi le wena ka FNB Cash Plus Agent. Tsenya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya e-wallet. Reka airtime le motlakase. Etela Cash Plus Agent e gaufi le wena go na le melawana. FNB, how can we help you?
Dumela Motswana Wetso, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of Real Estate with Neltah. Joining me in studio today, we have Mpho Moremong-Gobe, who is a real estate professional with a specialty in valuations agency, and she is the founder and CEO of MG Properties. Today, we'll be discussing property valuations and what affects valuations, and we'll be hoping that Motswana ko kreya sungwe from what we'll be talking about, and it'll be educational to the nation at large. Welcome to the show, Moremong-Gobe.
Thank you, Neltah.
It's such a pleasure to have you in studio today.
Thank you so much.
Now, tell us what exactly property valuation is. How did property valuation
Property valuation is an opinion of value of a property. You inspect the property and you come up with an opinion of value of that particular property.
So this is a professional opinion.
It's a professional opinion.
So what exactly affects the value of a property? I want my property to be valued. What are the factors that you're going to look into, and how will they affect the value of a property?
Okay. Well, what you do when you inspect, you do evaluation of your property. The first thing that you do is you inspect the property. Is it, how big is the property? Whether can build commercial building or industrial building. You measure the building. You look at what has been used to build the property, the brick and mortar, the kind of painting, the kind of finishes, the kind of roofing. So you look at all those things for you to, when you are doing an inspection. And once you've done that inspection, you go back to your office, you calculate the area of the building, and then you look for comparables in the area. This location is very important. You might have a property in Mogoditsani similar to a property in Gaborone, but the values will be different because of the location. Yes.
I actually wanted you to explain more about the location. Say a 4-bedroom house that is located in an urban area, plus comparing it to a 4-bedroom house that is, say, in Molepolle kana Mitsumachabi. There will be a difference because of the location, correct?
Yes, there will be a difference because of the location. There will be the difference because by where market operating in that area. Mogaborone, you've got a lot of people who are looking to buy, who are looking to sell their properties. So you've got the demand and the supply. Because ko motseng ko gae, not many people would want to buy a property go high as compared to Gaborone. So the demand and supply.
So demand does affect it.
Yes, it does. Yes.
And in terms of the supply, if we have a lot of properties in Gaborone, for example, we have a lot of apartment buildings in Gaborone, and that of similar nature, 2 bedrooms, for example, similar finishes. How does the supply affect the value? Does it make it go up? Does it make it go down?
If the supply is huge and the demand is limited, it pushes the prices down. Therefore, it will push the value of the property down. Like I said, it's a supply and demand. If the supply is limited and there's a lot of demand, obviously there are a lot of people who are looking to buy that property, and it pushes the prices up. When you are doing evaluation, you use what we call a comparable method. So
comparable one property and comparing it to others
with the other property and
of
similar nature and say this property, there is a lot of demand in the market for this property and the prices are going high, so the value of the property will be at that level of that demand. Yes.
So now we've discussed valuations in terms of, I think, haribuya like a value gore tlhwatlhwa ya ntlo ke 5 million, for example. Me ano a ko retsene ko renting. Batswana ba ngorega ka ditlhwatlhwa tsa rentals in Gaborone.
Okay.
You'll find what many will think should go for 3,000 pula, going for 5,000. What is the reason for this? I would assume that the demand and supply does come into play.
Yeah, demand and supply does come into play.
Right.
If you have a product and there are a lot of people looking for that particular product, the prices go up. If you have a lot of that particular product and there are a few people looking into renting that particular product, the prices come down. So that's what comes into play is more demand and supply, and what is the market willing to pay for that particular product.
And
Yes.
the Botswana real estate market is frequently called an open market economy.
Yes.
Or market rather. Can you just explain that in a simplified way?
An open market in the sense that we don't have rental, what's the word, whereby you are told you have to rent in Nebukana.
Correct.
Yeah, so the market is free to determine the prices.
But you know, just a bit, the issue with this now is tenants feel that the landlord has the upper hand.
There are markets where the landlord have the upper hand when the demand is high and the supply is limited. Obviously, the landlord has an upper hand. But when there's a lot of supply and the demand is low, then the tenant has an upper hand. So it works vice versa.
Now, when we want to identify macroeconomic factors that affect valuations, what are some that Botswana Kohai should look out for? Things such as recession, do they play a hand in how much a property is valued for?
Yes, recession plays a big role. When I was a student some years ago.
How many years?
More than 23 years ago, yes.
That's how old I am.
I did a research on economic cycles and property cycles.
Right.
Any economy has an economic cycle. And in my research, I found out that the property cycle follows behind or lags behind the economic cycle. So when the economic cycle, the phase, it's rising and reaches a hip, then the property cycle is lagging behind.
It's lagging behind.
Yeah, so it's just
So it follows the curve.
follows the curve. Yes,
Right.
yeah.
And just before we go for a quick commercial break, what are some of the factors that Botswana should look out for? Gone ya ka o bua ka di-cycle re lebeng ga re batla go reka rather kana go rekisa matlo a rona ga re ntse re lebetse economy, inflation ga ya ko godimo. Is that a good time to sell? Is that a good time to buy? When is it right to buy?
For somebody who wants to buy, it's good to buy when the cycle is at the dip, because the prices. Okay, the property experts will always know what is happening in the market.
Right.
Economists always know what is happening in the market. So, and there are always news mo di radio mo TV go bua ka inflation, go bua ka gore di prices go iragala mo marketing, economic growth go diragalang. So if you follow those news and you know what is happening in the economy, you know what go iragalang in the market, and talking to experts as well. It doesn't kill to ask an expert, is this the right time for me to buy? Is it the right time for me to sell?
I'm glad that you've actually talked about experts. We'll be touching more on that after the commercial break.
Okay.
We'll be discussing issues that you should look into improving if you want to improve the value of your house, and we'll also be discussing where you can find these experts that Mpho Moremong-Gobe is talking about. See you after the commercial break. We'll be right back.
Nora Cosmetics Cosmetics gives you the confidence that you have been looking for. We have products ranging from mascara that will make your eyes dazzle the onlookers and the high-quality highlighter palette that just completes the look. We also have the cream to powder foundation, which you can choose from Virtuous, Black Queen, and Royal Highness. Also, be spoiled for choice on a wide color range of lipsticks. Update your look? Visit our shop at Airport Junction. Mpho Cosmetics, simply elegant.
Banka gaufi le wena ka FNB Cash Plus Agent. Tsenya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya e-wallet. Reka airtime le motlakase. Etela Cash Plus Agent e gaufi le wena go na le melawana. FNB, how can we help you?
Ke mo gopola e le mme wa molwantwa yo ikaegileng ka tumelo. Ke eletsa go tsweledisa fa e emeng teng.
Dipalo di ka tswa di le ko tlase mme le rona borre re amiwa ke kankere ya lebele.
My name is Sarah. I have learned that taking action is much better than living in fear.
Welcome back to Real Estate with Neltah, and we're joined here by Mayor Mpho Moremong-Gobe, who is the MD of MG Properties, which is a real estate professional firm in Gaborone. Now, Mpho Moremong-Gobe, before we went for the commercial break, the issues of valuation. Can you tell us where to find these real estate experts? I think the visibility is a bit of an issue, especially other places which are a little isolated from Gaborone. It becomes a bit of a concern for people to actually find these experts and reach out to them. Where can they find them?
I know most companies, they operate in major centers. But for one to know whether somebody is an expert in this particular field, we have an office, Ibiduang Real Estate Advisory Council, RIAC. One can just phone that particular office and find out who are the valuers. If you doubt, maybe you've met somebody about Rarike Valuer, you can just phone this office and ask, or is this person really registered with RIAC? Or ask for a certificate. Yes, as a practicing certificate.
It's similar to the legal industry, the architect as well, correct?
Yes.
And there are different stakeholders in this real estate industry.
Yes.
Valuation. Who are the stakeholders? I will assume the banks?
Yes, banks are I would call them the major stakeholders, because most of the people are Baraka property. They need money from the bank, and they need to have a valuation for the bank to be assured or indeed the money that I'm giving to this particular person, I have a security of which this property is a security. If anything was to happen, this particular person has a loan, we can sell off this asset and get back our money.
Recover our money. So how does the bank determine which valuer to use?
I know this has been a hot potato.
Okay.
It's been a hot potato because the industry feels like, okay, every valuer should be
given the opportunity
to value for any bank. But what banks have been doing, banks did a panel, of which they set a criteria to say we are looking to set up a panel of valuers, and we need this. We need companies that already did the service to offer the service.
The requirements?
They need a practicing certificate.
This is from the Real Estate Advisory Council
yes,
and
REIB, yes. And then they also need a professional indemnity so that if anything was to go wrong with your value, they can call off your insurance to say, you said the property is valued 300,000, we've only managed to get 100,000, and it seems like your value was not, so they can call off the PI. So they need professional indemnity is one of the main things that they need. And then they also need to see what are follow the requirements. Follow are you best? Are you paying your taxes and all those things? Those are most of the things that they need, and they also need to be assured will you be able to treat their client the way they would want their client to be treated. Yes.
You actually raised an important point about the valuation, which cannot be as accurate. There are incidences where people have said that that property has either been overvalued or undervalued, depending on who the client is that they're doing it for. Okay. What is your opinion on that? Have you ever come across such?
Yes, we come across that a lot. Ghana evaluation is an opinion of value, but as an owner, sometimes you would have your sentimental value, and there are times when people look at the debts that they have, to say I have 1, 2, 3 debts, and I need to pay off these debts. So they will equate the debt that they have to what they presume the value of their property should be. Yes.
Because that actually happens a lot, especially so how do you handle such cases, and how can a Motswana not attach that sentimental value to the property of the real actual monetary value of the property?
Yes, we come across those that a lot, but what we normally tell them, we go through the process of valuation and what evaluation entails. Like I've said initially, that we normally use a comparable method to say 5 properties in this area have exchanged hands at this value. At this price.
The comparable method, is it the most popular? Is there any other method that's sometimes used?
There are different types of methods of valuations, but when you are valuing a residential property, the comparable method is the best method to use, because you will say this property is more or less similar to yours. It was sold at this much. This particular property is, more or less similar to yours, because there are no 100% properties that are similar 100%. So you'd say, it's more or less similar to yours, and I've adjusted, looking at 1, 2, 3, adjusted negatively or positively to come to this price or to this value, to conclude my opinion to be this particular value.
Right.
Yes.
So now, let me say I'm a homeowner. I'm looking to sell my home. How can I increase its value? How can I make it worth more?
The most basic thing is to make it neat.
Right.
There are properties that you go into, and it's not
kept well.
So properties have to be kept well. And that also helps in the economic life of the property, because the property has an economic life, which is basically around 50 to 60 years.
How does the economic life
Economic life, the time you longer property you can sell like it like it's a sell be 50 to 60 years, but when you maintain it well and you keep on
nurturing it,
painting, fixing this and that, it increases
in value.
The economic life of the property.
Now, before we close off, I just want you to take a moment to advise Motswana hore o ka bona yang thuso ya valuation? Because obviously you're a professional, you're doing this for a living. You're going to expect some sort of monetary compensation to carry out a valuation report. But batswana ko lapeng go nga ba ikutlwa ekare they cannot afford it. Like the average Motswana cannot afford it. What can a Motswana do to get a valuation if they are not in a financial position that allows them to do that?
Wow.
That's a tough one.
For one to go and see a doctor, they always have to have money, isn't it? So.
Well, we have public hospitals.
But you need that. Is it 5 pula? But you need that 5 pula to go and see the doctor. Basically, there's no way out. If you want to do the right thing, you need to seek professional advice. For you to come up with a figure, or say to go with something, or a property 3 million, when in actual fact, the value is 1 million. Your property will be in the market forever. And
correct.
It will be overexposed. And there is also a cycle.
Please explain.
The more your property get exposed over the market, marketing, the price, you will end up getting a price, even
lower than what
the value, because it has been overexposed. Everybody talks about that property, and then you get desperate. By the time you give up, then somebody is offering you 900,000, while the actual price is more.
That's actually interesting, that there's a life cycle in which a property should be listed, essentially. So the longer it's listed, the quicker it
the value, the price comes down.
Okay, that's very interesting. So what would you suggest, just in closing? I'm a Motswana. What are the first steps that I should take when I'm selling my home?
The first steps that you should take when you're selling your home, get the price right. You can get the price right by engaging a valuer to do a value for you, and then engage an estate agent who would also help you to market the property.
And I think it's important to point out that the estate agent should be registered.
Yes, they
with
should be. Yes, and then you'll pay the estate agent once your property has been sold.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mpho Moremong-Gobe. It's been such a pleasure having you in studio.
You're welcome, Neltah, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure discussing valuations in Botswana. We look forward to you joining us next time. Goodbye.
Botswana Hotspot brings you internet for everyone. When on the go, our hotspot zones enable you to share each moment. Be it a dash to the mall, or maybe an assignment submission, students. You can even catch up on e-disky results at the bus rank with your mates. One latte, maybe, ladies, as you catch up on your emails at a cafe with a hotspot. But most importantly, at the end of every journey, our hotspots keep you connected with your loved ones from all parts of Botswana. Now you can enjoy reliable internet at hotspots in Botswana. Botswana Hotspots, internet for everyone.
Banka gaufi le wena ka FNB Cash Plus Agent. Tsenya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya madi mo letloleng la FNB. Tsaya e-wallet. Reka airtime le motlakase. Etela Cash Plus Agent e gaufi le wena. Go na le melawana. FNB, how can we help you?